Ubisoft Massive Star Wars Outlaws has been one of my most anticipated games for years at this point. And knowing that it's coming this year in 2024 has me really excited. And I got a really cool opportunity to play quite a bit of this game here fairly recently. They let us kind of loose in a couple of the parts of the game, and I really appreciate that opportunity from Ubisoft as I definitely have to say now, but we'll move on from that. So, other than that, that's all I have to say though. So, this video, I'm going to focus on just my overall thoughts and try to get them out as quickly as possible, which I'm not always the best at. And then I hope to make more videos here in the next couple weeks, highlighting specific things I liked and showing it on screen. I'm going to try to make sure that most of this video has gameplay happening as I'm talking so that you can see some new stuff that you haven't seen before. This should be probably the first time you've seen footage of this game with a regular person playing it, not being from a trailer or gameplay that they've released themselves. So here's my thoughts on it. I am a really big fan of the studio. Specifically, the team making this game is the same one, for the most part, that made the Division 1 and 2. I know a couple of these devs, a few better than others. So there is a little, just a heads up there. I do have some implicit bias, I'm sure. I also really like their games. I love Division 1 and 2. I still think to this day that the Division 2 especially is underrated. I really think it does so many things well, and it's so, especially from like a mechanical or maybe like a technological point of view, was a game just so ahead of its time, which has made these other titles from Massive and the Avatar game that came out last year, I believe, and then this Star Wars game, really exciting to see where they've taken their own proprietary engine called Snowdrop to the next level. And we've definitely see that in this game. There's been a lot of talk about the graphics and some footage unfortunately leaked. One of the other people who got to do this test, it seems like, decided to leak that footage, which really sucks. And that person is a huge douchebag, is how I really feel about it, in case you can't tell. But that footage, and the issue with stuff like that is that, at least in my opinion, didn't really show how good this game really looks. If you've played the Division 1 and especially 2, you'll know that, especially environmentally, from environmental design and art and all of that, Ubisoft Massive is second to none, probably, especially in like a big open world situation. And that transfers here. The two places we primarily got to play in look amazing. They look really, really good. They feel very natural. They feel lived in. They're full of stuff and NPCs, and it really does feel like you're in a world, like you're playing Cave S, and you're this character in this world that's happening despite you, right? Now, I'm not going to go out there and say it's like Red Dead Redemption 2, where like if you follow every NPC, you're going to find that they have, they go through their whole daily routine. I don't know. Like, I don't play games like that typically. That's for other people to decide and discover. But just the general feel of getting a few hours into this game, it felt good. Like, it felt like there were things happening around me, and it wasn't just a world there for me to exist. I really like that. If I had to describe the actual gameplay, what I would say though is that it gives me vibes of Jedi Survivor for sure. You get some of that. The Tomb Raider games, I would kind of give it a little bit of that as well, in a good way. I know not everyone loves those. I do. I love those games. And kind of like an Uncharted kind of feel as well. This game's, it's trying to do a lot. There's a lot of depth to it, and the gameplay I got to have, I didn't get to explore much of that depth yet, because you're really only going to get to do that when you are making your own choices, when you're equipping and finding the gear that you want to use, and doing all of that, and picking the bonuses and stuff that work for you, and that's fine. But I really liked the way this game felt. after I had this playtime, I definitely had that feeling of like, this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to have like my KVS to play through like my story with this game. Um, one probably the highlight of gameplay for me. If you're expecting this to feel like the Division 2, it doesn't really. At least in my opinion. It's definitely this game, at least in large part, is meant to be kind of like a stealth game. I wouldn't say it goes all the way into Splinter Cell territory, but you're definitely not meant to take on many situations just heads up. That said, in the second part of my playtime, we were supposed to steal this thing from this building with lots of guards, and I snuck through. I did all the stuff, and then I alerted them and set off the alarms, and then it just turned into a shooting game, and that was still pretty good. I still enjoyed it a lot. The controls, I don't want to say they're wonky or weird. They're fine. It's hard to get the feel of a game mechanically in just a couple hours. And so it's one of those things that I know when I get a few hours into this game on my own time, it's going to feel good, if not great in some ways, because there's a lot of I want to say like dynamic ability in this game. So like there were times where I would go into a room and say there's like 3 enemies in there who aren't aware of my presence yet. I can send my little doggy friend over to Nyx. I can have him attack one of the individuals. I can hit another one with my stun shot. Then I can run up on the third one and knock him out or shoot him. And then turn my attention to the individual that Nyx was occupying and take them out too. And I had so many moments in this playthrough, this playtime I had, which was only a few hours, where I did a thing and I had that moment of like, oh, that was pretty cool, which is what you want from a game like this. And that can come from doing things stealthily or not. I even when things broke down, I still found myself having fun, just turning it into a shooter game and using the different abilities that you get with the gun. Using the I saw one question someone had when I threw out questions, which I'll do a whole episode just answering people's questions. So if you have questions about this game, put them in the comments, please. But one of the questions was, do you get more than one weapon, more than your pistol, your blaster? And it seems like you don't. It seems like you get modifications to your pistol that you can change on the fly during gameplay, but you can pick up the weapons of the enemies that you kill. So, the stormtrooper blasters or, other enemies, you can pick up their weapons and use them until they're depleted. And that was actually really cool. You can even have, say you kill an enemy and, a few others are approaching you and you want to use that firepower, because it's everything from like sniper rifles to heavy machine gun, things like that. You can ask Nyx, your little buddy, to go pick up one of the guns that an enemy drops and bring it to you. And then you can use that bigger that bigger amount of firepower, things like that. Really, really cool. And it's why, like, this is definitely just my first impressions. I wouldn't even call this a preview. Really, it's an opportunity for me to put some gameplay footage up so you guys can see it. But I truly believe you're going to have to get 5 to 10 hours into this game to really appreciate the depth of it and all of the things that you can do. And I think it's going to be easy because this is what I was doing as having a relatively short amount of time with the game, is just going in and doing everything the most predictable way possible, right? Like just doing all the things the way that, they're kind of showing you like, hey, look at this open crack in this wall where you can access this place, even though there might be a handful of other ways to get to where you're trying to go. I probably was taking all the easy ones. I think when you actually get to play this game and really dive into it and make your own choices, customize your own K, whether it's with gear or skills and things like that, I really believe that you're gonna see some really cool YouTube videos of people doing these really cool sequences where you're doing all this stuff, and this game definitely has that ability to feel cool, which is what everyone wants, right? Like, now from my own experience, it also seems like you can kind of just bumble your way through the game, which is what I kind of did. I'm never going to proclaim to be the best video gamer in the world. So, I'm really excited for this. This in no way, shape, or form hurt my excitement, which I already had. It only amped it up because I finally got to kind of feel what the game is really like. I guess the last thing I'll talk about is that we did get to do a relatively short sequence of the space flight and stuff, and it's very Rogue Squadron reminiscent. They definitely did a good job of capturing, at least in my opinion, that kind of feel of those old like N64 games, and it was really cool. It felt great, and that's another place where it seems like there's actually a lot more depth there than I thought there would be, and it seems like they're really doing this thing is big. This is a big experience. If you saw a couple of weeks ago, IGN did the whole like, oh, you can drive across the whole map on your speeder bike in 4 or 5 minutes. That might be true. I assume it is. I hope they wouldn't just straight up lie. That's not gonna be a thing. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna feel like there's this too small open world, and this is just from the couple areas I got to see, not all of them. I assume there's more. Um, I don't think size of maps, density of activity, I don't think any of that stuff's going to be an issue, at least from the little bit of time I got from the game. Um, Complaints and stuff, I don't have. I have no complaints that I don't think will be fixed. I've noted those things. If they're still around, or if there's other stuff that pops up once the game actually comes out and we're playing the final version of this, then I'll definitely talk about that stuff. But for now, I want to keep this kind of fun and lighthearted, and hopefully I've given you an opportunity to see some cool new gameplay and hear me ramble on for a bit. Like I said, I do plan on making more focused videos. So if you have questions, again, ask them down in the comments. I'll try to do a whole video of just answering questions or about the game as much as I can. I also, there were a few parts of the game I really want to do maybe shorter, more specific videos on, and to kind of highlight why I'm so excited to play this and to get into it and see to see where it goes, because story wise as well, it seems like they're doing some fun stuff, and I've been really excited to see this team get to really dig their teeth into a story game that isn't a massively multiplayer looter shooter, that like has all of the limitations that games like that, like the Division and Destiny and stuff have. So I hope you like the footage. Again, let me know if you have any thoughts or questions, and we'll come back with another video here, hopefully pretty shortly. If you're interested in Star Wars Outlaws, other Ubisoft games, gaming in general, news, speculation, all of that, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you like this video, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or thoughts. You can do some extra support for this channel. If you become a YouTube member, you get videos early. Not this one, but other ones you get early. You get a cool little badge beside your name when you comment, as well as some other bonuses. So go ahead and do that if you want. If you want to support in other ways or check out my other content, hit the link in the description of this video. That's all I have for this one. So until next time.